Hey guys, I am going to compare the DJI Osmo Pocket, which I just got, to the Canon G7X. I just purchased the Osmo Pocket, but I had really hoped to see a comparison like this before I bought it, but I never did. So I'm going to do it myself and hope that it helps other people. I want to compare the stability, I want to compare the walking and talking and the movement because the DJI has a built-in gimbal. I also want to compare different types of light, different conditions, and different audio. So let's see how they pair up and how they match up. I do realize this is an apples to orange comparison. I know they're not the same type of cameras, but since I'm a vlogger, it's important to me how they perform and where they're going to be best suited. I have a feeling I'm going to be using the Osmo for some situations and the Canon for other situations. So this is the walk and talk camera test. I've got the auto track on the Osmo, the face track, so it should be tracking my face even if I move around. I'm gonna walk a little faster. This should really give the gimbal a test on the Osmo, and of course I don't have a gimbal on the G7X. So this is the walk and talk camera test. I've got the auto track on the Osmo, the face track, so it should be tracking my face even if I move around. I'm gonna walk a little faster. This should really give the gimbal a test on the Osmo, and of course I don't have a gimbal on the G7X. Doing a brisk walk with both cameras just for comparison. This should really exercise the gimbal on the Osmo, which is where it should shine over the Canon G7X. I do not have a gimbal on the Canon. We're gonna try face tracking. So on the Osmo, I'm not even worrying about whether it's tracking Brian or not, and this is interesting lighting, so it should be a challenge for the Osmo, and instead I'm worrying about the G7X. And as you know, Brian's much taller than me, so he has long legs, so I'm having to walk really fast to keep up with him.
Looks like it's keeping track.
That's awesome. Let's not trip over the curb here. All right, let's switch sides, see what happens. I'm just curious.
There we go. Got me?
It still got you, but you need to walk slower. Brian's about twice as tall as me. Yeah, it's doing a great job tracking you even with the switching sides like that. We're gonna try face tracking. So on the Osmo, I'm not even worrying about whether it's tracking Brian or not, and this is interesting lighting, so it should be a challenge for the Osmo, and instead I'm worrying about the G7X. And as you know, Brian's much taller than me, so he has long legs, so I'm having to walk really fast to keep up with him.
It's like it's keeping track.
That's awesome. Let's not trip over the curb here. All right, let's switch sides, see what happens. I'm just curious.
There we go. Got me?
It still got you, but you need to walk slower. Brian's about twice as tall as me. Yeah, it's doing a great job tracking you even with the switching sides like that. This is a low light test, and I haven't adjusted the ISO at all. This is just using autofocus, auto everything. Another test, this time moving at night. Again, no adjustments made. This is just straight filming from both cameras. Here's a comparison of sun glinting off the water. This is a test in very muddy and very rough trail conditions, so there should be a lot of bouncing without a gimbal. I would expect the Osmo will perform better here than the G7X, but we will see. Now looking to the side. I hope this comparison was really useful to you. I know it was to me. I mean, even owning both cameras, it was helpful to see the footage side by side. There's nothing that quite compares to that. Obviously, there are some limitations to the Osmo. I would say night. You can change the ISO, which I did not do, but you have to hook your phone up to it to do that on the app. As of right now, you can't do it on the little touch screen that's on the Osmo. So I could see myself pretty much sticking to the Canon for nighttime filming. I think the sound is just a little tinny. They did do an update to the Osmo that improved the sound, but I still think it's a little bit on the tinny side compared to the Canon. But the noise dampening is far better on the Osmo than the Canon, like the background noise. That is much better on the Osmo, so it's kind of a trade-off. And otherwise, there's obvious major differences, like the Canon can zoom and the Osmo can't. I mean, that's just a built-in limitation. So there's gonna be situations where I'll want zoom. So as of right now, I can see myself using both. I'm gonna probably at some point do a review video where I talk about the Osmo in depth, so I'm not gonna do that now, but it has a lot of really cool features that I didn't even go into on this video, such as motion time lapse and things like that. So I think it was a good test. It was definitely great for me to see the difference. I think the Osmo shines in bright sunlight, full light, or even bright indoor light. I think the Canon handles low, like twilight, low light, pretty dark, much better. And then the sound, like I said, it's kind of a trade-off. I think the G7X has slightly better sound, but the Osmo has better noise dampening effects. So anyway, hope this was useful to you. As always, we appreciate subscribes, likes, shares, and comments. Until our next adventure.